What is the dealio? Welcome to Three Black Guys with the Mic. Um, I am your host, Spud, along with Maynard Scales and Lamont G. Hayes. We are going to kind of do something a little bit different today. We are going to kind of just, have a conversation with everyone tonight about what is going on in the world. What is happening with this country. What solutions do we have? What can we do? What should we do? And we just want to kind of just open it up to everyone and just have a conversation with you about solutions and about whatever frustrations you're feeling, and talk about deeper issues when it comes to injustice and police brutality and racism, white supremacy, and everything else in the world. So, Maynard, what's up? Lamont, what's up?
What's up, my dude? How y'all feeling?
I mean, I'm good to go. How are you?
Maynard, how are you?
I ain't gonna lie, man. I've been really struggling with all this that's going on, man. I don't know.
Police brutality.
My father, my father, always was like this. He's always been this big-hearted person. My father kind of like he's a big guy, 6'3", 6'4", 250 some pounds when I was younger. But he's put on weight. But he always was quick to cry about things. He's got a big heart, and he gets emotional with his kids, me and my sister, with family members. It's important, and I've started realizing as the older I get, the more I become a little bit more emotional with things, and I'm in a space right now. I'm not comfortable.
Why are you not comfortable? What is it that you're not comfortable with?
Well, I haven't told y'all this.
Exclusive.
I don't even have no funny. I was about to be like, you pregnant, but that don't even feel right. You know what I mean? Because we got to try to find some funny, bro, because I know where you're going, but come on, give it. I mean, I don't know where you're going, but
well,
are you pregnant?
Y'all don't know. I've been trying to steer us as a show to discuss mental health. I've been trying to make that something I wanted to discuss. And part of the reason why is I have challenges. I've been having challenges for a couple of years.
With mental health?
With mental health. I've been on antidepressants for a while. And
what was the cause that led you to experiencing mental health?
I'm angry, and I've been unhappy for a long time, and I don't know why that occurs. Some of the thoughts that you have when you deal with those things, you don't know why or what's going to trigger you. The other day I was just simply trying to put a new doorknob on the front door, and I've done that 50,000 times, and for whatever reason that thing wasn't acting right, and and there were 35 other stressors that existed in my life that I probably hadn't dealt with. But there's a term for this particular type of thing that exists that I deal with, dialectical something, I can't remember, but it means I can ride real smooth for a long time, and I don't go high for a minute and low, or for a minute it's always right here, and then all of a sudden it's off the charts, and it's it's explosive, and I don't like feeling that way. But anyhow, knowing that I've been in a weird space for a while, um, all these things just all combined together. COVID, being locked in the house and away from friends, 3-4 murder incidents that we are discussing in this basically all through the month of May. That if they occurred in different times, but they all occurred for us to discuss in a major way through the month of May, and it's just it's a challenge. It's a challenge. I'm really disappointed in what America is. I'm disappointed that people have turned to looting. That's that they feel that kind of hopelessness that allows looting to occur and rioting to occur. And I don't know where we are.
Well, the unfortunate part about it is I think that, well, first of all, let me go back and just say thank you for sharing that. I mean, I know that's that's a personal thing, and for you to express that and for you to be able to, share that not just with, Lamont and I who know you personally, but, to our audience who have grown, with us over the last 3 years. That means a lot, to be able to get that off your chest. And the to expand on that is that to be able to recognize it, because there are a plethora of people in the country that don't even know that they have that issue, that they suffer from that issue. Mm-hmm. And, sometimes, and I'm sure you guys can, agree that when we were growing up, a lot of the things that we were experiencing as kids, and a lot of the things that, our parents would take us through, were just normal. Like it wasn't, no diagnosis of, oh, you got mental health, or you're, dealing with frustration or bipolar or whatever the case may be. It was just, you weren't dealing with ADD. You just need to study harder, and it wasn't anything that, we knew as kids growing up that we needed to actually, be diagnosed or actually have a conversation with somebody who's a professional, in that arena. And those things carry on, as an adult. And it's important to be able to express those things and be able to say, look, I'm fucked up. And, I got some ways that, are about me that I need to really, really, really take a second and really focus on. I mean,
let me share one other part.
I mean, let me say this real quick and I'll let you finish. I had to say the same thing last year, and, late last year where I was like, yo, like I really got some serious anger issues. Like, I really noticed like popping off and like, and to me they were just normal. But, to my wife, she's like, yo, I didn't grow up, in the sense of being yelled at and, what I'm saying, going off and popping off, and that's the way you deal with your anger. And I was like, you know what? You're right. I really need to take a moment and really look into myself and say, why are these things happening? And what am I doing, and how am I going to be able to address them? So I say all that to say, sorry to get off the topic, but that was very noble, and I appreciate that, you really express those things, because people need to hear that. And when they do, and when they see someone else that have been going through the same thing, it allows them to be able to say, I can open up because I see someone else opening up.
Let me just say one thing that I know that has been a unique challenge. And I think this goes into part of why we're here with George Floyd, or why we're here with Ahmaud Arbery, etc. Similar to what you said about, you don't have no ADD, you just need to study harder. Some other things have occurred in most black men's lives, in most black people's lives. And I was always kind of always told, or I think it was kind of learned that, black people don't have time to be depressed. That's not, that's not for us. That as a black male, here are the things that you won't do. You're not going to cry. You're not going to get down. You're going to put on a smile. You're going to take the load on your shoulders. You're going to move forward despite whatever things. And one of the hardest things that I had to come to grips with was like literally saying, like you've been, that's who I am, right? You don't cry, you don't get upset, you just keep moving forward, whatever. You can't say you're depressed. Black people don't do things like commit suicide or have to go to therapists and all that stuff. And when you realize that maybe that's what you're going to do, one of the first things was like, that thing that I've been taught all my life has become who I am and my religion. Now all of a sudden, who am I? If I'm not the person that I was supposed to be programmed to be, then who, it's hard to reconcile. If you ask somebody, to change, you've been eating Uncle Ben's rice all your life, and then somebody says change, you'd be like, well, hold on, this is different. And, it was very difficult to get those things together. And I think why I say this is where we are with George Floyd and where we are with Ahmaud Arbery and all those things is that as black people, there's a lot of stress in our lives, and that that stress is real, and it comes from other things. It comes from internal, but it comes from a lot of things from external things. So I'm gonna shut up.
So Maynard, let me get a little bit of this there. So I was listening to some music the other day, man, and it's funny you say that last little piece about stress, because if you remember what Chuck D told us, Chuck said that the number one killer of the black man was what? Stress. I also remember hearing people always tell me when I was younger that stress is something that's self-inflicted. Now, I don't know if that's 100% buy into that, but something else I was listening to, the other day, I was listening to the old Mobb Deep album. And we all know the song, Survival of the Fittest. Da-da-da-da. But in the beginning of the song, when dude says it's a war going on outside, remember that's what he said, right? Now, he might have been talking a little bit about what was going on in Queensbridge, and that was his story at the time. But as I was listening to that and I was watching MSNBC, I was like, like what Marvin was talking about during the Vietnam War and just so many different things in our community, it really is a war going on outside. Mm-hmm. There really was a war before COVID. There was a war before George, before Breonna, before those things. Unfortunately, there's been a war going on outside pretty much all of our lives. You know what I mean? And I think that what you said was super cool. And there have been some things that I, over time, have learned to deprogram myself from. Just like yesterday, we were talking about on the chat. We had no conversation about, because we were so engulfed with what was going on, of the anniversary of Black Wall Street
massacre.
Where Black Wall Street is still important, because the massacre part is important, but what's important is pre-massacre, on how we were flowing, how we were moving, how we were making things happen, how we were clicking, and the reason why there was a massacre. So all of that was lost in that day of, I saw a little bit of it, but just not that much, because there's so many people that don't know that story. And I think a lot of that is by design. Spud, I got to give you some kudos. I think you posted something about Dr. Claude Anderson. I never forget, I heard him say this one thing that really helped me with part of my deprogramming conversation, is that we as black people, we did have a history before slavery. But the way that we've programmed, at least for me, kid born in the 70s, I didn't really get a whole lot of that story. You feel what I'm saying? I got Indians, us, chains, Martin Luther King, you can go get a job at Ford. That's pretty much what we got in Detroit. You know what I'm saying? Go buy a house. You good. Find your cute little wife, have some kids, 2 cars, and then there you have it. Then you die after paying a death note, a.k.a. a mortgage, for 29 years. So I get what you're saying. I don't know if I've been there, but I have learned over the past, 5 years, I've really enjoyed the deprogramming process of learning that a lot of things that we've been told is just not true. Even when we dive in a little bit more of everything that they're showing us on TV about this looting, uprising, I don't want to diss my black people. I love them to death. But there is too much precision. There's too much military tactics that are being used for you to tell me that Black Lives Matter and whoever else, a couple of these organizations, it's some of this. I'm trying to figure out who in Black Lives Matter is dropping off pallets of bricks in 15 different cities. I'm trying to figure that out because I didn't know we was moving. We was rolling that tough. I'm still trying to.
You get the resources for that.
Come on now. You feel what I'm saying? And I know we got a Twitter.
Black Matter. I'm just saying, that's not necessarily a resource that.
Who dropping off bricks?
Right.
So there's so much again, and I said this about the deprogramming. I'm gonna leave this alone after that. I'm ashamed to say that I just learned, and we talked about this maybe 60, 90, or 120 days ago, that I learned that the man who was the closest to Malcolm X,
right,
and who tried to give him mouth to mouth, that he was an FBI informant and had been with Malcolm since damn near the beginning. We were never told that. You feel what I'm saying? It's just so much stuff that we just have not been told. So again, for what we're being fed, as it's kind of like you got to use a strainer. You know how when you make the crack, Maynard, and you get the strainer and you take the
crack?
No, not crack. It's the cocaine, right? Don't you put in the strainer? I'm trying to bring some lightness. Come on, man.
I haven't cooked up crack rock in years, so I don't know.
No, I'm sorry. The cake. When you sift in the cake, you got to sift the flour.
The sifter.
Okay. The sifter. Yeah.
I don't know where the cocaine part came from. I don't think that's a part of a mixture of some sort of cake, or not.
New Jack City or something. I saw one of the old movies. Yeah, but I say all that to say is, Maynard, and not just you and not just Spud, I'm almost 1,000% sure that these conversations of, we wake up every day and we attempt to do the right thing, and then you find out that someone who doesn't look like you, we were just having this other conversation where, Maynard, I love you, but me and you could have the same exact credit profile, the same exact income, but somebody that doesn't look like me and you, they get a different rate on the loan. True. And that's historic. That's just what it is. That's proven. So over time it makes you sit and be like, well, shit, why am I? And I'm at this disadvantage. So again, I get it. I'm gonna echo what Spud said. I appreciate you sharing that as well, because I think that's what this is supposed to be. It's supposed to be about us helping other, not just black men, but black women, or just people in general, understand how we as black men, how we think, we operate, and how to fix, because none of us are perfect. I'm not perfect either. You know what I'm saying? I have very little flaws, a few minute flaws, microscopic flaws. You feel what I'm saying? But I get you, because again, I ask myself this question, and it makes you feel some kind of way. And I'm gonna share this, and I'm gonna be quiet. But it happened one time when we had the last BMW, right? Brand new BMW, and I never forget. I got angry with my. Yeah, no, this is probably the flaw. I got angry with myself because the police pulled behind me. I got angry because I tensed up. And I said, oh shit, what? And I was like, wait a minute. I got good credit. I got insurance. I got everything. Why am I tensing up? Like, I was like, dog, what's wrong with you? And Maynard, that's one of the days I had to have a long talk with myself. Like, what was that really about? You feel what I'm saying? And I hate to say this, but when I was in that plane crash, when I was on Vegas Island, yeah, we'll talk about that later if we didn't talk about that already. I told myself I was more afraid when that police was behind me than when that Cessna 402B went down in Vegas Island. And that's my word. For a split second, I was scared. I was like, yo, dog, what's that? Like, the ancestors making me scared of the slave catcher? Like, what's that shit about?
That's what it is. But it's a real fear. It's real, right? So, just because we said this in the Cynthia McKinney interview, just because you paranoid don't mean that they ain't out to get you, right? And you can't have a scenario where there is, we talk about slavery in America, whatever that may be. We have to talk about the conquering of all colored people in their lands by European people, because that's where it starts, right? Before there was slavery in America, before we were even here,
right,
we were there, and there was slavery, right, and it was looting, and it was all kinds of raping, pillaging, and murdering in Africa by European countries. So if you look at the map, you know that Italy got some of Africa, Dutch got some of Africa, England, France, et cetera, et cetera. We don't call, a lot of people pronounce it Niger, but the word is Niger. is the name of the country, which is a French word. So is Algeria, right? Why are these named after the French? Why is Morocco, Morocco was broken into two, Spanish Morocco and French Morocco. For years it was. Or Vietnam was run by the French. And then we decided we wanted to get some of that because, we ain't going to let the French have the French and the English have all the China Sea, the far eastern seaboard. Then we came here. But that victimization of people was occurring for not 400 years, but thousands of years.
Come on now. There we go.
We then turn around and we got to know that this is true. We endured, slavery, then just the out and out lynching. That turned into apartheid. And now it just turns into, we lived through segregation. We got to this point, and now it's still this, this hunt. And that can't pass. You can't be the descendant of a slave and the escapee of lynching and the survivor of apartheid and live today and think that shit ain't inside of your blood and who you are. And that shit is real. It's not something that we are making up. And I think too often the frustration is we've been telling people this is what's happening, and they won't believe it.
So let me ask you this, Maynard.
It's post-traumatic slave syndrome.
Yeah, and I was going to go there. So, Maynard, if what you're saying is true, then does that mean we have to acknowledge that the original policeman in this country was the slave catcher?
Absolutely.
And do we not have people that don't understand the slave catcher's job and what's like ingrained in that particular and listen, I got homie as the police. I mean, they's my man. Like DPD, we could talk about it, and we have these conversations. A lot of them are like, Lamont, you're right. I'm like, I know, because that's what that whole understanding of what the police is in this country are slave catchers.
Now, I think the other thing to kind of add to that, like, look at what happened. And so, because it's always been a plateauing where we were concerned. We were slaves. Then they said, we're going to free y'all. We're going to free y'all. And they said, okay, free them, but we ain't going to let them own land. And we, at any point, we reserve the right to go down there and kill any black person we want for whatever reasons.
So wait, man, and I hate to cut you off, but can you just put that Freedmen's Bank in there? Can we talk about that part of it too? Because I also think the economic slavery of us in the beginning is also important.
Right. Well, it was an exploitation of our bodies, our labor, even post-slavery, right?
Mm-hmm. Right.
And even as we talk finances, I want to go kind of where you are, but I want to go slightly different. I remember just looking at the redlining projects of Chicago, that in the 30s and the 40s and even the 50s and part of the 60s, they were giving mortgages to good white people in Chicago. And in the mortgage, the covenant said, you can't sell your home to a black person,
mm-hmm.
right? And that locking out. And think about this. If the Dred Scott decision was in the late 1800s, where it basically said no African American man, no African American woman, no black person, no Negro, whatever they wanted to call us, they have no rights that the white man is compelled to honor. So this is the thing. I didn't make the Constitution. We didn't make the Constitution. You said land of the free, home of the brave. You said that this was all men are created equal. You said we had inalienable rights. You said, if you didn't say that, if you said, look, this is the white man's country and we ain't going to ever give nobody no rights or no respect, then I'll be like, well, shit, that's at least what that's what they said. But when you say this is your founding documents, the Declaration and the Constitution are your founding documents, and you put in there these things, these truths we hold to be self-evident, just do your shit. Just do the shit that you said this shit.
But man,
they did put it right that we were 3/5 of a man.
We were 3/5. So
Right.
man, hold on, man, wait. I just want to acknowledge, because we're gonna get into this later too. That was one of the biggest lies that Rush Limbaugh said today. If you listen to the interview, he talked about the Constitution and how it was basically for everyone, and how, it was come one, come all, you all can do great here in America. And I said, well, wait a minute, Rush Limbaugh, that's not what the Constitution said when they wrote it.
No.
Okay. Just want to make sure it wasn't me.
No.
Okay.
It's the same thing that when what's the doctor what's the boy who ran for president, who's the HUD secretary?
Oh,
Carson?
Ben Carson.
When Dr. Ben Carson said that everybody came over here voluntarily with the
we came over here for opportunity.
Yeah, everybody has a fighting chance. You're like, no, Dr. Ben, they don't.
And the thing about it is, it's been a continuation of this plateauing. Like, okay, you got here. Now they up here. And every time you get to the next level, they'll be like, don't try to rush it. Just accept that you aren't a slave anymore. Just accept that we don't lynch people in public anymore. Just accept that you can go to school and the school isn't as good as the white schools, but just accept that you can go to the school. Okay, just accept that we're gonna bus you from my neighborhood, from my community, where my high schools and because they started busing when I think I might have been in second or third grade. And what they did to disrupt it is they took kids from the far north side and bust them all the way out in the suburbs. So that meant that, like, for an 8 o'clock call, these kids are standing on the bus stop at like 6:45 in the projects. That shit can't lead to success. It's a plan that had us set up for failure. And
it's basically like, and then it's the opposite of, oh yeah, well, we gave you these things. Oh, and look how hard we had to work too. That was Rush Limbaugh's thing today. Oh, I had to work just as hard, and I've been, fired, which is fine. We're not discrediting hard work. Hard work is hard work no matter what.
Right.
But I think that, we all could agree that your parents probably told you, if you're black, you got to work 2 times as hard.
Just to be considered half as good.
2 times as hard. You got to be twice as hard, twice as good, twice as obedient, just to be accepted in this situation. Not only that, now you guys keep moving the chains. Oh, we need you to do this. Okay, we do that. Then it's like, oh, you did that? That's great. But now we need you to do this.
Right.
And you're like, well, damn, you keep moving the chains. How will we expect to be able to have a level playing field if you keep moving the chains and everyone that is in your corner has the authority and the position to be able to rewrite the rules, to be able to write the laws, to be able to write the policies, to be able to change it up. And now we got a president that's on TV right now basically saying, look, you guys are frustrated. I understand that you're frustrated, but I'm going to call the military. You looting, I'm going to start shooting. There is no hope. There is no upliftment. There is no compassion in this situation.
No empathy.
Oh, I understand that, one of your own got killed. That was probably bad. But you're not looking at the bigger picture of why the frustration is there. Now, I'm not agreeing with, looting. I don't think that looting is, the answer.
No.
But at the same time, from the leadership of this country, it doesn't make you or make people feel comfortable when you are basically saying, oh, you're not recognizing my frustration. You're basically saying, oh, you're pissed off? Okay, no problem. I'll put you in jail for 10 years. Without even listening to the conversation.
I hate to tell you, but I disagree with you, brother.
How?
I don't think I was here until maybe about 4 or 5 days ago. I think looting as part of a 3-prong attack works. You just can't loot alone. You have to have hold up. Wait. Listen.
I'm following you. I might be co-signing.
No, listen. I just said what Mobb Deep said. It's a war going on outside. We have to, like, I'm gonna tell you what really made me angry.
Come on.
Hold up, let me finish.
Let me finish.
Let me finish. Is that y'all remember when somebody said something about Barron? And they was like, "Oh, we can't talk about the kids and all that." I was like, "Fuck Barron." You know what I mean? Like, when you're in a war, like, it's all bets is off. You have to be warlike. Isn't there a book called The Art of War? Right. So what we're trying to do, and I Bill Maher said this all the time, and this is just Democrat Republicans, not just what we're talking about, is you can't play nice when the Republicans don't play fair. You got to get in the mud, and it's how you do it or whatever. So let's talk about my man Keith Ellison, for example, and that's part of what I would call the three-prong attack. Yeah, you got the homies that's down there. They doing a little bit of looting. They not putting no bricks out. No. Because see, Spud, you can't put all of the looting on us.
No, you can't.
I didn't say that. I just said looting.
Right.
I said I don't agree with the looting part.
No,
to me is not protesting.
I'm down with some of that, but I'm also down with making sure that one of us now controls the prosecution of those police,
which I agree with.
Right. So just let me work this here. Let me get this together. So you also got to make sure, and no matter what you may say about that police chief from Minnesota, if you saw the interview when the Floyd family was talking through the reporter from CNN, talking to the chief, X, Y, and Z, and the chief said to the reporter, "This is for the Floyd family," and my man took his hat off and showed that big bald beanie head as a level of respect. And then when he got to talking to everybody else, put his hat back on. I said, you know what? That's some old military shit, but I get it. I said, I understand that level of respect. So you got a black man that's a police chief. You got a black dude that's a prosecutor. And yep, you got some of the homies that's on the street that's throwing a couple of bricks and all that. At the end of the day, Donald Trump is making statements about bringing the military because of some of the looting. And we got to make sure other things are in play.
But
what other things need to be in play? I mean, listen, nobody needs to take a police horse, dog. They took the police horse, dog.
They got the attention.
Come on, son.
They got the attention.
I understand. I'm down for the, you know what I'm saying, for the protesting. I'm down for the marching. You have never seen Malcolm X, Stokely Carmichael, the Black Panther Party. You haven't seen Martin Luther King in any of those protests ever be in a looting situation, damaging, you know what I'm saying, buildings. That's not protesting.
But we have a president now who believes in grabbing women by the feet.
You can't excuse the fact that you are. It doesn't make any sense to me at all for you to say, I'm going to go out here and I am going to protest on behalf of George Floyd, and then now I'm going to run in a Foot Locker and I'm going to run out with 15 pair of shoes. That's not protesting, man.
So
but they're uncomfortable now. That's all I'm gonna say.
First of all, let's just keep this much in mind. They didn't hear us when we stood and waited patiently, and we were anxious to find out what was going to happen after we watched Rodney King get beat by those cops some 84 times. And then we let that go to trial, and we thought, man, shit, we're going to finally get some justice. They were found not guilty. The only reason why those two cops ultimately were found guilty at the federal level is because we tore Los Angeles up. If we didn't do that, they would not. Like it's gotten to the point where, like they say, the looting, rioting is the language of people unheard. Well, you know how do you know when they say, how do you hurt a billionaire? Hit him in the pockets. And that's what's happening. That's one.
But that's not the way.
Hold on, Spud.
I feel you, though. I feel you.
Hold on. The main and most important thing is, I think, is that a level of post-traumatic slave stress disorder, whatever we want to term it. You realize at some point there are people who are opportunistic. I know there are people who are opportunistic, but there are people who have actually truly have lost hope. And when you have no hope, when desperation is set in, when you've been feeling this forever and ever and ever and ever, when it doesn't appear that you're going to move forward in this world because whether you've messed up yourself or whether the bricks and the different goalposts that you were mentioning just keeps moving out. And then another thing, even if you do have success in corporate America or whatever, you always got to think, you always got to listen to, oh man, shit, he was a affirmative action hire or whatever the case may be. When you've lost hope and you don't own this, if you don't own it and you don't have hope, if you ain't got shit to lose, then looting doesn't seem like a big deal. And when you have hope, where we may be sitting right now, that is a luxury afforded only to the distant bystander. But the person at the tip of the spear can't see what we see in real time.
I don't disagree with your narrative, either one of you. I disagree with the looting. I understand it, and I can see why it's happening. That part I am not in disagreement. I'm on the same page. I don't think that the level of looting is an answer. That, to me, is just channeling the energy in the wrong way. Even what the mayor in Atlanta said, Keisha Lance Bottoms. How are y'all looting, and you got T.I. and you got Killer Mike, you know, who own businesses on the West Side? It's not just white businesses out there. It's black-owned businesses that also are getting looted as well. So I can't say that I agree with somebody running up in, you know what I'm saying, T.I. space and, you know, in his restaurant or in Killer Mike's barbershop and taking all his, you know, clippers and damaging his property. I can't agree with that. That, to me, creates the narrative of why the president will say, yo, you guys are out here damaging properties. I'm going to put you in jail for 10 years. Now I'm going to call the military. He can't see that this is a peaceful protest when we are out here setting hotels on fire. And we're like damaging police cars, which I'm, you know, not totally against, but you get my point. I just don't think that level of anger and frustration is going to get us to where we need to be. Because going back to my point and what you said, that only continues to move the goalposts further. Now it's like, oh, if something like this happens, okay, now we're not even gonna give you guys the opportunity to even do anything, to even protest. We automatically question down before it even starts.
So, Spud, let me ask you a question. Do you think Rush Limbaugh
for the questions?
Do you think Rush Limbaugh would have wanted to get on do an interview with the Breakfast Club if they wasn't nervous? If we would have Rush
Limbaugh got on the Breakfast Club because they have the platform to be able to get his message across, and that it goes back to the same Republican tactic of, oh, Rush Limbaugh was on the Breakfast Club, so they're obviously he's not a racist or he's not a white supremacist.
You didn't let me finish. You didn't let me finish the question. You did not let me finish the question. The question was, would have Rush got on with the Breakfast Club without the burning and the looting?
No, of course not. Absolutely not.
But so now when he was there,
what though?
He was there slipping in his message, and he kept saying Antifa, Antifa, Antifa. I've been looking for the Antifa website. I've been looking for
me too.
I've been looking for this. Look, if Antifa is such this thing, where can I sign up? I don't know anybody. I've been walking around the streets.
Can you go to an ISIS website?
Right.
Is there an ISIS
I've been
website?
walking around the streets of Hampton Roads, seeing every radical black person I've ever seen that says Antifa.
Is it black people, Maynard? I thought it was started in Greece.
What did Cat Williams? I ain't got no Antifa friends.
No Antifa.
But is Antifa supposed to be blacks? I thought it started in Greece or something.
The Antifa, the word is basically anti-fascist, and they just kind of did like a Bradgelina. They joined the words together, right?
Bradgelina.
Yeah, Brangelina, Blad, whatever that thing was, and they put these words together, and they keep talking about Antifa. I don't know. I'm a liberal Democrat. I'm a progressive in some respects. I've been on the left all my life, and I talk with other Democrats all the time. We been making inroads with another group, the guys from Clickbaity, and they're even further progressive than us. That's Jason Johnson and Marcus Farrell and Mondale Robinson, and they're more progressive than what we are. And I was like, yo, can I get an Antifa application from one of y'all? Don't nobody know what Antifa is, but they keep saying that it's Antifa because it sounds frightening and it sounds like something we can put, that they can put on and attach to black people and attach to liberals and demonize people. But that's bullshit. It's not even a thing.
So where are the bricks coming from, Maynard? What is all of this about? And I said this before. Some of these, what we call protests, are like military precision. It's like we posted a video like what they did on Fairfax the other day. I mean, these guys had trash cans that were on fire and ramming into police cars. I mean, this was like some old war games kind of stuff. So are we saying that Black Antifa, Black Lives Matter? Where did this come from?
I don't know, because I don't know. I look at the news and I say, I cannot for the life of me swallow the fact that the police allowed for people to damage their police cars, spray paint on them, jump on them, bust out the windows. I mean, I understand. No, I don't understand. I was going to say, I don't understand how that is happening. I can't see how that is not creating more animosity.
Well,
you are literally
let me insert something.
Police property.
Let me insert something. Now, we talked about this a little bit yesterday, and it's a real thing. It's not Antifa, some spooky bullshit that somebody made up. A man named William Pierce wrote a book called The Turner Diaries. I think it was William Pierce, or was it William Luther? William Luther Pierce, you're right. Published in 1978. Mm-hmm. And he was a white supremacist, and the book is a white supremacist thing, and it takes place in the future, blah, 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 blah. But ultimately what happened is some unrest occurred. What was supposed to happen is on April 20th of a year in the future, that some white agitators, call them the Michigan militia for the sake of argument right now, would go into a black neighborhood and stir up havoc and mayhem in an effort to create a race war. For instance, why I mentioned Michigan militia was because Timothy McVeigh went and bombed the Oklahoma Federal Building on April 19th, the day before how the book depicts it. And they found the book in his vehicle. So we know that was a huge inspiration. And every time they usually catch some of these people who are white supremacists or right-wing radicals, whatever they may be, they catch them and they go through the things that they all seem to trade in this book, The Turner Diaries. And so as we look at the looting, and we've all seen this video of this white man in all black busting out the windows and these kinds of things, we have to ask ourselves, is this a Turner Diary incident? It continues to happen. It's not some spooky make-believe foolishness. These people read that book. And as a result, we have to recognize that they are, we're not paranoid, but even if we are, they're still out to get us.
So Maynard, can you please add that my man had an umbrella where there was no rain?
Right.
It's like, you got an umbrella? That's what we doing? And then, and this is a real thing, so we do know that I think there were Homeland Security people in Oakland. 2 officers actually got shot. One died and one made it. And they actually had a Homeland Security aircraft kind of fly over Oakland, right? So then I'm like, well, can they, I know they got the things like on the movies where they can see from the sky and the satellites. And I'm just like, this is like some war games kind of movie kind of stuff, bro. Like, this is, again, I'm not trying to down my people, but we just not that smart when it comes to this in terms of this coordination, organization, and funding. Now we waiting on $1,200 a month. You know what I'm saying? or the $1,200 stimulus check. Now, I don't see that.
The last
So
thing I'll say.
is COVID over?
No, hell no.
Because I'm like,
No, because second wave coming.
No mask on.
No.
Ain't nobody got no mask. It's like no social distancing. Everybody is just out protesting. I'm like, dang, did I miss a memo that it's okay to go back outside?
I'm good. I'll pass.
One other thing that has been said in the past, that no people have ever gained their independence or gained their freedom or gained their liberty without bloodshed. That is relatively true throughout history. The English came to this country and they didn't get the freedom to roam this country without killing off a lot of Indians. The Vietnamese had to defend their nation from the French and the Americans during the Vietnam War. Bloodshed had to occur. If you think about it, we were slaves here, and a civil war had to be fought for slavery to end in some respect, right?
Yes, let's be clear, because we know about 13.
Right.
It's still actually in effect. Okay,
right.
Go ahead.
And so, maybe we're at a point where, again, when you don't hear me until I tear up shit, once I'm conditioned to understand that that's the language you speak, I'm going to have to tear up shit. Because even before this looting and rioting occurred, there was patience. But the DA came out and was like, well, I really was going to come out and announce something, but I really don't have anything to announce. So, how about the weather we're having today, everyone? And people were like, what the? All right. Boom. Lit the match. It's on. So what took so long in the Ahmaud Arbery case? 2 months between the time. What took so long?
Which was my problem with Rush Limbaugh, where where he's like, look, there's no white supremacy.
Oh,
and,
that shit is
white people don't have privilege. And I was like, are you kidding me, my man? Like, you mean to tell me that these guys were able to, and I think you said this the other day, man, on the last show, where it's like, I got to just hang out for a whole month and a half. And had there been no video, they would still be hanging out. They would still literally be chilling and not having any issues with what's going on in the world.
Here's one simple thing that should happen every time. I don't care what the circumstances are. You pull your weapon, you feel like you are under threat, you don't, or maybe you're committing a crime. Either or, you shoot somebody. Yeah, it was self-defense or it was this or that. That's, sir, we understand. You're going to have to come with us. We're going to sort it out later. They didn't even arrest these people at the beginning of this thing. You shoot, so somebody dies and they basically come out and say, hey, we're going to need somebody to sweep this body up, spray the blood down. Hey, guys, look, we'll see you guys next week. Everybody be okay? Some bullshit. And then the George Floyd incident, these men are first responders, right? So if a cop saw me choking somebody or hitting somebody or putting my knee on somebody, as a first responder, he would say, hey, let me get you off of him. If a cop saw me choking for air, like I'm in a restaurant and I need the Heimlich maneuver, the cop would be like, oh, let me come over there and help you. George Floyd is dying in front of you, and as a first responder, the other cops did nothing. And then when you have the tape, you say, okay, look, we looked at it on tape. We need to, at the very least, take this person into custody and get the entire story and take the evidence and take all those things. We need to do all of that before we even let him go home. That's bullshit that this man gets to, like, it's okay. So
yeah, because he should have took a blood test. You gotta do the whole little rundown.
Right.
But again, what we don't know is every municipality has a different set of rules in terms of how they handle their cops but I'm with you, Maynard. Immediately a death of someone like that, everybody got to come in. I need reports from everybody.
Nobody goes home.
Yeah, don't nobody go home. We got somebody dead. Everybody report to to the to the station. Everybody, let's go.
Now,
You're right.
to answer another thing about the looting, and I don't know that I just am suspicious of certain acts because COVID-19 has shut down the retail industry in a major way. A lot of retailers have not been able to sell their goods. They've been sitting on merchandise. They're insured. And so what if we staged a little looting here? Get this merchandise. Look, take the good merchandise out the back. Have the store looted.
Out the front. Out the front.
No. Take the good merchandise out the back.
Oh, get the good money. Yeah.
Right. Put that in safekeeping. Have a little looting. Follow insurance policy. Get a little money. Because you ain't been getting money for 2-3 months. You ain't been getting them checks coming in. You ain't been getting that cha-ching, cha-ching, cha-ching. Ain't nobody swiping no cards. 2-3 months.
So, Maynard, are you trying to say that Bergdorf Goodman staged that?
Why not?
No, I'm with you.
Listen.
Listen. Here's what a New Yorker said to me. He said, Lamont, listen, nobody's coming from Harlem, go get the A train to go all the way downtown from 170-something street, right, 160th Street, to go in 5th Avenue and break into Bergdorf Goodman. Lamont, we're not doing that. Or go all the way from uptown, go all the way down to 14th Street to break into and get some lotion from, I forgot the little lotion place they got down there in Soho. Like, it's like, no, Lamont, that doesn't make sense. It doesn't. So it's awesome bullshit. So again, my question still is
I'm gonna go looting and hop in the Uber.
Yeah, hop in the Uber. That's what we doing. Yeah. So what do we do to try to manage the anxiety or the trauma? Because whether we realize it or not, the more news we take in, the more social media, and I hate to say this, but social media is starting to be a not so good thing.
It's not good
if you take too much of it in.
It almost makes me want to delete my my account.
Kind of, sort of, and that's why I don't.
But
like Twitter, I've never been a Twitter guy because Twitter's just too much.
But it's also an addictive thing, right? Because you see that one video, and they got an algorithm that says, "Oh, you saw a video that a black man got choked." They're gonna send you another video, and they're gonna send you another. And before you know it, you've watched damn 25 videos, and I'll be ready to slip my damn wrist.
Right.
Yeah, I would lose hope. Like, I got a but. I don't know. I sent this to you guys today. It's something I put together, and a friend of mine is working on creating a hashtag because I'm too stupid to figure out how to do that. And I'm just calling it the 21-day Black Habit Challenge or something like that. And there's a video I'll put on the page and other places. And so about the anxiety piece, what I think this can do, in the next 21 days, do these things. Do business with a black company once a week at least. That's only 3 times. If you can do it more, then fine. Meet a black person that you don't know and say hello. Spend time with that black person. I realized this morning driving through the city, I saw a guy and I was like, I'm uncomfortable around this person. For what? The media has got me afraid of my own fucking people. We got to, reach out.
Some of your people will rob you, though, Maynard. Let's keep it 1,000. Some of your people will rob you.
So shit, and like white folks ain't been robbing folks. Like they ain't the ones who enslaved us and killed us.
But those are the ones you're not getting chummy with them either right now. That's all I'm saying. I'm with you. I get that. I understand broadening the base.
Right.
Go ahead with the challenge. I'm with you.
So, get a chance to meet somebody, a black person unknown to you. And shake that person's hand. Well, I guess we're not shaking hands, but let that person know, I wanted to be look at different black men who I don't know, and it's strange. I just want to say, hey, dog, yo, man, I got love for you. You don't have to know that person. Get that person's name. Become friends with them. That changes the dynamic of who they are to you and who you are to them. All of a sudden, that's somebody you know, and you don't have to be fearful of. Spend time reading black poetry or black writers, black magazines. If only read 2-3 pages of a book, do that. Share that information with somebody. teach our children about, our music. This idea that most kids today have never heard a song with analog instruments in it, with acoustic instruments. That doesn't exist. And I got friends who are just a few years younger than me that didn't know that Gangsta's Paradise by Coolio was a Stevie Wonder song called Pastime Paradise, or, introduce
was
people
it
to
really? Wait, really? That wasn't his original work?
Shut up.
Oh, man. I got to check off of that, too.
And the reason why I'm saying that, and the reason why this is what I feel like is going to change the anxiety for me, for 21 days, I'm going to be focused on doing these things that I think are positive. These things that I think, if I can do these things for the next 21 days, and I can convince 6 of my friends to do these things as well, then when we get to the end of it, maybe we change something. We get to the end of it, maybe we just do it again with 6 other friends, and we keep doing that. And that puts money into our businesses. That, part of what I asked to do is send money to a black college. I believe wholeheartedly that, black people should send their children or their money, or their children and their money, to black schools, if at all possible. And if your child isn't going to go to college, that's fine. Then he's going to open that business that we need to try to frequent and go into, and I'm fine with that also. And just spend time making certain that if you can do these things, you can be distracted from all the negative shit that's existing right now.
I'll take that.
It's a damn good challenge, too.
Yeah.
It's out there. The video is out there. I tagged y'all both. Let's just share it.
Yeah, I shared it. And then also, I just want to not alter it or anything like that, but, even if you don't go that deep, even if it's just watching YouTube videos, I mean, you can watch YouTube videos on Black History,
right,
and just get information. You can just have conversations with people and just lower the level of tension between you and someone else, because most of the time, I'm gonna say this, and hopefully I don't get in trouble. We have a neighbor, right? And bless his heart, he's white. And
damn, he's gonna be in trouble now.
No, right? But I mean, I just
a white neighbor, Spud? I didn't really.
I mean, we got plenty of white neighbors, but our neighbor is afraid of black people. You can just tell he's just afraid, and so he, over the Memorial Day weekend, we all bought pools. Because it was burning up. It was 80 degrees. So we all got pools. Even me and my wife got a pool. We all sit in the pool, but we didn't get the chance to do it. But he bought a pool for him and his, daughter. And he was so afraid to come and ask us, because he doesn't have a spigot or whatever to, get any water from. He was so afraid to ask us to use our water hose that he was literally in his house trying to create an extension in his home just to get his daughters some water for the pool. And me and my wife were sitting there looking like, why won't he just come over here and ask us for some damn water? Like, it's all good. And we finally...
Why didn't you offer? Why didn't you offer?
We did. And finally we went to him and was like, we literally have a hose right here. Why don't you could use it. Like, it's just water. It's 90 degrees out here, and your daughters really have been sitting out here for an hour and a half waiting for you to get some water for them, and you are in your basement trying to hook up a damn hose to a damn washing machine drain, and instead of you asking, and since then, he has been in conversation. Now, he's been living here for 3 years.
Right.
And he don't speak, he don't say anything. But that one moment of me and my wife going over and saying, hey, we have water, you can use it, you are more than welcome to it, totally changed his attitude about who we were as people. Because in his mind, he thought that, I can't ask them because they may be mad, or they may be angry, or they're black, or I just don't associate with black. It could be anything. And those are the small little things that help in Maynard's challenge, where you are just de-escalating these tensions between people. And that's not just with white people. It's with black people too. Because you can go to the hood and you got dudes looking at you and you like, hey, my man, like, you want a beer or you want you want to ride somewhere, or do you want to, it ain't even that deep with the hostility and the her and the mean mug. Like,
Lamont, you know what it was, Lamont?
God is love, man. I mean,
Lamont, he ain't want no, because Spud is black, and despite where the neighborhood they live in, he ain't want no Flint water.
No. But you know what? I get it, and I'm not gonna lie to you. My neighbors, we just had a new neighbor, and he, because what they were probably trying to do, I know what happened with me, and I had to go break the ice as well. They're trying to figure out, like, they see what kind of newspaper you're reading, they see what kind of car you're driving, they see that you're not, the music isn't loud, you're not, doing some things that people in our community do. So they're trying to size you up, they're trying to figure it out, and they are uneasy because they probably have had generations of programming of how you are supposed to be. You know what I mean? Because again, at one time, we were labeled as buffoons, as monkeys, as less than, as 3/5 of a human being. That was the law of us. You know what I mean?
Gary Chandler, wow.
Gary don't want no smoke. So I mean, it's what it is, man. But no, I commend you on that too, Maynard. You know what I mean? Like, I think that's a good thing, that we should all try to do in terms of trying to combat of what we're inundated with, TV, our friends, social media. It's just a lot. But it just made me want to go take a nap, bro. Just take a nap.
Yeah, but then most of it, sorry to cut you off, Maynard, but most of it isn't real. Most of it is people playing to the social media. It's right. People making you believe that they are living a life that they are not. But not only that, you have people now that are trying, this is their opportunity to get 5 minutes of fame or 15 minutes of fame. They're pouncing on these opportunities to be able to be seen. Or even going back to, Jason Johnson and what's my man's name? Whatever, the clickbaity. It's clickbait. Where you got people out here are literally trying to get more clicks and views, more clicks and views, more clicks and views, and they don't know a damn thing about what it is that they're talking about. And you are scrolling through their feed like, oh my God, I can't believe, look at this person. They are just off, and they ain't shit. They trying to pay their rent, or they got a $1,200 stimulus check like your black ass.
By the way,
I didn't get my
subscribe.
I did not get 1,200. I'm looking for 1,200.
But why we say that? Could you please subscribe to our YouTube channel?
Hit the like button and go to our YouTube page and subscribe.
Hit the thumbs up, please, if you can. We appreciate that.
But I think one of the things that we have to just kind of keep in mind is, like you said, none of this is real. What's real is when you spend time with your family, and I had a really interesting conversation with my going on 11. She'll be 11 in a month. My 11-year-old, and I was not knowing just how much of what is occurring in the media and in the world that she is absorbing, and so I was proud in one moment that she could tell me. Like, she didn't know George Floyd or Ahmaud Arbery. She was like, is George Floyd the one where they chased him and they killed him, or is he the one with the knee? So at least I know she's paying attention. Getting the names mixed up is small potatoes for a 10-year-old. But then I also realized how upset this made her, and that's the part that really, to me, helps me understand that there is at 10 going on 11 years of age, she's ingesting this stress of, oh my God, these black men look like my father. And are you going to come home every night, Dad? Or somebody going to hurt you? Or you going to, and she's taking on that stress now herself. So, we got to make sure that we spend time with our children, spend time with our network, spend time with anybody who you have in your family that's afraid and scared.
And not just that. I mean, I'm glad you said that, Maynard, but take this time to listen to your kids as well. So many times, especially when we were growing up, it was just, as a parent, you just did as I said, not as I do. Your parent told you what to do, and that was just that.
Seen and heard.
You have to take this time to hear what your child is going through, their frustrations, their angers, the things that they are not telling you, the things that are affecting them. And not just, your kids, your neighbors and your family members and your friends and your spouses and, everybody who is going through some sort of, challenge and, at this point in their life. And we got to take just a moment to just be able to just, listen and just give some undivided attention for a minute or 2 minutes or 3 minutes or whatever, just to, just allow somebody to get that off. Or, you don't know what somebody going through. They might be going, all, going through all kind of crazy. I'm sorry, y'all. My damn dog will just not, just say hi. Okay. All right. God dang. Bye. Okay. She done been over here 4 times trying to get into the damn camera. Anyways, sorry, y'all. I apologize. But anyway, so, you just got to take this moment to be able to just listen and be receptive. Not only listen to, other people, but listen to yourself too, man. Dr. Sabrina said it best, like, sometimes you're going through some crazy stuff and you got to take a moment, to be able to tell yourself, you're not okay. And that's okay for you to be able to say, yo, I'm messed up right now. And I don't know what these feelings are. I'm in an uncomfortable position and I got to be able to either seek, counseling or, something outside of myself, or I think it's got to take a minute to be able to digress and just kind of chill out. But sorry, I ramble.
No, but I we wanted to talk about this thing. I turned us all the way around when I said that I wanted to share something with y'all. So I do want to just kind of make some mention of a few things. In the Ahmaud Arbery case, he's breaking and entering. There's a string of burglaries. Nobody goes in jogging and steals things and is running to basically nowhere, right? Like, first of all, it's an unfinished property. There's, I'm looking for the person who's building a house and keeps their diamonds in the unfinished property. That doesn't happen. So he's not doing that. He can't run down the street with a big screen TV under his arm in the middle of a neighborhood in broad daylight. I know you may see some people looting, but that's a whole different thing. Also, this story about the counterfeit $20 bill, at most, it's an arrest, but it's not a physical altercation. And we saw video where Floyd was, in fact, relatively cooperative. They had him in handcuffs. They sat him down. He wasn't screaming about he couldn't breathe at that time. It's just when he had his knee on his neck. And the last thing I'll say about all of that is, despite the fact that one coroner, the state medical examiner, said that the strangulation or whatever
county.
Excuse me.
County.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Had that he wasn't. There was no signs of strangulation. He had a heart condition and maybe he had intoxicants. Just keep in mind that there's two things. That's the setup to say there's no murder, A, and another setup to say, look at this man. He had weed in the system, or he was been drinking, or he hasn't taken care of himself. It is demonizing the victim. And we can't allow that shit to continue.
I'm saying, for the family for getting a second autopsy, which eliminated all of that, because they basically said he died, from strangulation, basically.
Right.
The second autopsy.
And the county medical examiner, the police officer, the mayor, who I would say the mayor definitely responded well, but him, the prosecutor, the judge, and the sheriff, who runs the jail, they all basically get the check printed by the same person. So we got to know.
So, but again, I'm with you 97%. But again, over the last 24 to maybe 36 hours, let's just also understand that there's just been a little bit of a shift. And the reason why I say it's been a little bit of a shift is because when the governor said who has the power to take the county prosecutor. He's still going to be working on the case, but to call the Minnesota State Attorney General, who now is going to lead the investigation, who could say that autopsy is out of here. We're going to put the state guy on it for him to do another one. You feel what I'm saying?
Right.
So what they really know is, like, you just really what you're saying is that all of the people on that county level are probably some bad apples,
right?
Because they all know each other and they're covering each other's tail.
And as much as they moved it to Keith Ellison, and we did get this new autopsy,
right?
We have to understand, even if they moved it to Keith Ellison, and if the family didn't go and seek another autopsy, then that would be the evidence that Keith Ellison would have to take in and say, okay, let me look through. Oh, no murder occurred, right? It was a setup. And we got to just keep in mind the demonization of the victim. Because they're going to try to demonize Breonna Taylor, too. They're going to try to demonize Ahmaud Arbery, and they definitely going to continue to demonize George Floyd. Because they're going to protect their own. And we got to be vigilant about that.
In addition, I mean, well, and also I think that it's important. We'll say this and we'll wrap up, but get a final words. But listen, man, we have to take control. We have to take our power back, and we have to literally start to turn some of these things towards our community in regards to spending where we are, spending, in our neighborhood. Start to support our businesses, starting to withhold our dollars, continuously to fight for justice, and to continue to, stand together with each other. Maynard said it earlier, it's, the power is in the dollars, man. It is about economics. And, I posted a thing, if you guys get the opportunity to be able to watch it on, our Facebook page. It's Dr. Claude Anderson, who I've been reading,
right,
a lot. And it's about powernomics. When you don't have any power, anybody can do anything to you. And unfortunately, we're the only culture in this country that has no power. We have no economics. And once we have that, and once people see that we have the economics, we are just not channeling the economics in the right direction. We have to be able to, God bless Michael Jordan that, Lamont hates to death. But we might have to say, Jordan, you're a little too late, and I appreciate your comment, but I'm not standing in no line to give you $200 no more.
He's trash. Michael's always been trash.
In the dictionary, saving comes before spending. So we have great spending power and horrible saving power. Let's reverse that. Saving comes before spending. Let's save more. So that we can spend more wisely.
Absolutely.
So before I get my Kettle One, I gotta save?
Yeah, of course.
Instead of buying the $23 bottle, just get the mini boy.
No, God, no. That's blasphemy. You got to get the 3309 bottle, whatever liter the biggest one you can get. No.
Yeah. No, Gary Chandler said it best. My mom always used to tell me there is nothing like your own. My mom one of the lessons that my mom always used to tell me, about borrowing and, your own stuff is always think about what if the person isn't there? What would you do if that person wasn't even an opportunity for you to do? How would you make this happen if you didn't have somebody to borrow from, or you didn't have a job to go to, or you didn't have, this person to lean on? What would you do to be able to, make your own life be able to happen? You got to have your own. And we got to be able to start to be able to collectively be able to, as much as I really hate to say this because we've only been saying it for 1,000 years, but we just got to start to work with each other, and we got to be able to start to, collectively move as a unit, as a fist, and not as a couple of fingers. You got a couple of, I as much as, I'm not a Don Lemon fan. I got to give Don Lemon some, some props.
Your man Don Lemon getting that overtime, that $32 an hour that he get. Don Lemon
was like, I'm calling you out, Oprah. I'm calling you out, Tyler Perry. Where you at? And I ain't mad at him for that.
And so let me say one last thing, at least on my end, and you guys can wrap up how you want. The challenge that I've been talking about it really is a buffet of things. I ask people to do all these things and you'll see the video, but If you say, well, I can't do all those things, but I can do some of those things, then great. But just pick it up where it is and move it forward. That's one. And I'm also not advocating that we don't do business where we have always enjoyed doing business as well. If for some reason there's an Applebee's and you want to have, I'm not saying you can't go in and have the 2 for $20 apps and the jalapeno poppers. Go in
I
and
don't
have
eat
them once
I don't
in a
eat
while.
Applebee's, Playboy. You know I don't do that.
But you can continue to do business. You can do business. There's enough money that you have been spending out of your pockets that you can do business with both. There are things that you can't do exclusively with African Americans. You can't buy a black manufactured vehicle. We understand that. So I'm not asking for some kind of strict loyalty that no one can achieve, but just try.
But if there's a black dealership,
right, there you go. That's fine.
I'm not going to Applebee's, man.
And I second that, man. I'm not trying to say this is all about, black power and black, we're not saying that. We're not saying, alienate white people or anything of that nature. This is about economics. This is about power. And if we want, some justice, then we got to start to, create some sort of power and respect for ourselves. So that way other people and other cultures can respect us. What was the Asian lady who killed that girl in South Central and got off?
The Korean lady in the store.
Korean lady, pretty much that was the spark of, of the Rodney King joint. Of the riots. But, it's not just white people who don't respect us. Be very clear about that. It's other cultures that don't respect us as well. So some of y'all at the Chinese restaurant getting the buffet, boy, y'all might need to,
The buffet?
You know how you go to the Chinese buffet?
Is Majalao still open?
I don't know.
Was that 17th in John R or something like that?
Something like that. I used to be
I don't know if it's well, nothing is open at this moment.
Oh yeah, you got that right. I guess you're right. Yeah.
Mazalan was my spot though.
Yeah, that was a spot there, but no buffet. But all right, I'm with you. I'm done.
Y'all have a fantastic night. Thank you so very much for checking out this opportunity. We didn't do a show today. We just wanted to just have dialogue and have conversation. We appreciate the feedback, everybody watching. Do us a favor, share this on your social media page. Just hit the share button on your page. We want more people to be able to see it. We have a YouTube channel. Go to our YouTube channel, hit the thumbs up button, hit subscribe. We do the show every single Monday at 7 p.m. Sometimes we have guests on, on Thursdays. But share this because we want to be able to continue to get more people involved in the conversation, get more people, dialoguing and talking and knowing about what we're talking about. So have a fantastic week. Be safe out there. Listen, if you're going outside and you're protesting, I'm all with you. I support you. Just do it safely. Wear a mask. Do the social. I'm not trying to listen, man. I've been in the house for 2 months. I'm not trying to do this again in December and November. I can't do this again in November. But be safe out there. Have a fantastic week. And we'll talk to you again next Monday. Holla.